You know what they say, new year, new anime. With Winter Anime 2025 here, we have a bunch of original animes, sequels, and of course, isekais. We had a nice break from isekais in fall 2024, and nothing good lasts forever, so we had a bunch this season. I'm not gonna torture myself and watch all of them, but I could truly never get away from the isekai genre. Let's stop the yapping and get into the first anime.
ちょっと寝たらついて
兄貴ハンさんは未成年です。
だったら
ADP Watch.
First anime, Solo Leveling Season 2, A Rise from the Shadow. We have the return of Jinwoo in the most hyped up show of the season. I'm a big Solo Leveling fan. I was reading the manhwa when it was releasing weekly. I think this adaptation is great. It has done the source material justice, with some liberties taken in, like having the sharpest chins in anime. I'm enjoying Season 2 more than Season 1 because the cat's out of the bag. People have noticed Jinwoo and even seen his power, so there's no more hiding in the shadows. He's coming out as the S rank. The story can be slow and mediocre at times because there are some episodes where they're building up the next arc or just building up the next gate for Jinwoo to find a new powerful enemy. Of course, there are comments of the plot being mediocre with great animation, which we heard before, such as from Demon Slayer. I'm a sucker for power fantasy, and Jinwoo is just a Giga Chad. No one can stop this man, and he just wants to be behind the scenes, not the star of the show. The visuals are amazing, the characters are getting better, a bigger plot is slowly building up, it's just taking its time. I think Solo Leveling has lived up to his hype, and it should only get better. Also, this anime is one of the most friendly animes for new fans to get into. So if you have any new anime fans, you might want to recommend this one. It's a power fantasy anime with great fights and top tier animation. What more can you want? Is the plot still in the mid category? Sure, but sometimes we just want a simple power fantasy anime. So there's no point in trying to bring it down. We know what Solo Leveling is, and we like it for it. And I can't wait to see the rest of the season. Also, I had dibs on Hunter Cha. I called it when I was reading the manga years ago.
あなたが何も変わってくれないなら、私一緒にいられない。バイバイ。
Do a flip!
Next is Sakamoto Days. Here we have a Netflix anime that was the second most hyped up of winter 2025. I had some expectations because of the hype, but I did see some concerning comments from fans about the animation and how it didn't do it justice from the source material, from the trailers at least. And from watching the show, I feel like we have been way too hard on the production side. Sakamoto Days has good animation, but we have been spoiled from shows like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titans. The bar is set up so high that even some good animation can be ridiculed for. I have no problems with it, and I'm really enjoying this anime. Sakamoto Days is about a retired hitman who chose a simple life, run a convenience store with his wife and kid. His wife is the epitome of I can fix him, and she does. And now Sakamoto is a slightly overweight man that his past is catching up to him. He takes him some proteges, and they help him try to keep a simple life. Of course, the organization that he worked for was not too happy that the best hitman ever suddenly retired and didn't do it the right way. So it's up to them to keep their peaceful life and try to hide it from their wife. Spoiler alert, it doesn't last for long because she knows what she got into. She knew he was a hitman. I really like this anime. The action scenes went pretty hard and the comedic moments hit sometimes. It's a great anime overall, and it's on Netflix, so a lot of newer anime fans have access to it, which is always great for anime. It's a great watch, and I can't wait for the rest of the season, and we're gonna get a sequel too.
あなた、何のつもり?
Huh?
Next is Apothecary Diaries Season 2. We have the return of Japanese Dr. House. I'm very excited for the sequel because I love Season 1, and Mao Mao has to be one of the most well-written female characters ever. She is the GOAT. She continues to defy all expectations and solve these unique problems while trying to remain in the background, but the spotlight's already on her. She is smart and she knows the politics, so she doesn't go too far into trouble, unless it has something to do with medicine. If you like Season 1, you definitely like Season 2. Everything has pretty much remained the same from Season 1. The production, the character development, and the chibi moments. I really like this anime, and if you haven't seen it, go back and watch Season 1.
私だったら1億万%当たってました。
Next is the 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You Season 2. Now we have the return of probably the greatest harem show ever, and Season 2 has not skipped a beat. We get introduced to more girls, and Rentaro is still a Giga Chad. The characters look great and are full of personality, the animation and the comedic bits are nice, and I love all the references and fourth wall breaks. I'm a sucker for a good parody anime because they have so much creative freedom to do anything. I'm really enjoying it so far, especially with how they balance all the characters. He has so many girlfriends, and it does feel like they all get enough screen time, and he cares for all of them. The parody moment's awesome. And sometimes there is a tearjerker or two. Like in the most recent episode I watched, the baseball episode. I like sports anime and I like baseball. And this was one entertaining game. It parodies everything you love in a sports anime and throw in a bunch of comedic bits and your usual tropes. It turns into one hilarious episode with all the special moves and them turning into Super Saiyans, which is happening a lot this seasonal anime. This anime is not serious, it's fun, ecchi, and even though it has the usual romance tropes, they're the first ones to call it out. 100 Girlfriends is hilarious and so entertaining, and I can't wait for the rest of the season.
挨拶に来るという婚約者はどこなの？そんな小汚い下女を呼んだ覚えはないけど。
冬ちゃん、もう一度言ってみろ。
Yeah, I said, bitch.
Next is My Happy Marriage Season 2. We have the return of a Cinderella story. No, this anime is not like Cinderella, but it has similar aspects to it. I really enjoyed the first season, and my enjoyment has pretty much stayed the same with the second season. The only difference is, with the second season, is that their relationship is established already. They have committed to each other with this marriage, and have fallen in love with each other. Now it's just getting the acceptance from Kyoka's family, but of course they don't like Mio, because she's not the same status. This season now is focusing more on the plot of the supernatural things that are happening, that we have been teased from the first season. The different powers, Mio's special ability, it's all slowly unwrapping. It's turned less into a romance anime and more of a fantasy. The plot has to be moving somehow, the animation looks good, the characters are nicely designed, and some of the scenes are just beautiful. Mio has continued to be pushed around, but she's slowly building up that confidence to stand up for herself and prove all her doubters wrong. With the plot moving along, we get to understand some of the abilities that we have seen, and it's interesting. I probably prefer season 1, because I was more interested in the relationship and not really the supernatural powers that they have. But season 2 is still an enjoyable watch, and I want to see the relationship get closer.
忙しいだろうから婚姻届も出しておいたわ。あとは若い人たちだけでこういう待っておばあちゃん
Next is I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class. Here we have a comedy and romance anime with a plot that we've seen many times. Our two main characters hate each other, and for some reason they're brought together to be forced into love. In this case, our two main characters, Akane and Sato, their grandparents knew each other back in the day, and they couldn't date because of their family. So now they want to live vicariously through them and are forcing them to get married. They bought them a house and they're forced to live together like a married couple. And if they don't, they lose all their inheritance. That's very fucked up from the grandparents, but it's an anime plot. They do dislike each other from school, and there's tension between each other early on, but slowly they start to understand each other and start to fall in love. Of course, we have your basic side characters. Saito's cousin is a gluttonous lollybait who's just all over him. Like, come on, do we really need that in this anime? Of course we do. Akane's best friend is Yutibio Garu, and she falls for Sato. Akane's kind of a bad friend because she doesn't tell her best friend that she's kind of engaged with them, is living with them, and is also developing feelings. But it's a romance anime. They're not going to reveal that till the last episode probably. This anime is fine. The animation's decent. The colors are really bright and pop out. And at least we get to see some progress with their relationship and actually develop feelings for each other. They are still hiding this relationship, so in school they're always bickering with each other, and the classmates jokes that there's some old married couple. There's a lot of chibi moments, which I typically enjoy, but it feels like half the episode is chibi moments. I found entertaining moments, and it's not bad, so I'll probably finish this anime. But it's your average school romance anime. That's nothing too special.
ボイド軍団が来るっていうのに。いや、待って。ここが本当に滅びゆく物語の世界なら、ナインソルジャーがボイド軍団を倒す。その時ユニオが死亡。黒毛こっちみんな。
Next anime is Zenshu. Now I got clickbaited by this. From the early preview of this anime, I thought it would be about an animator that is struggling to complete their work. We get to see the behind the scenes of anime creation, the overworked workers, the sleepless nights, and the crazy deadlines that put these workers through hell. And which studio is doing this anime? Oh, MAPPA. They should know a thing or two about that. Our main character Natsuko, she's overworked, but this is her story. She's the creator of this anime and will do all the work herself. We get that in the first episode. She's held to a high standard because she makes the studio so much money, and we see that with her boss, which probably happens in real life. Let's be honest. She continues to work on her storyboard, and she chokes on a clam. And when she wakes up, she has been isekai, which I did not expect. I was not expecting an isekai. The world that she's isekai to is A Tale of Perishing, her favorite childhood anime movie. Even though this anime movie was critically hated, Natsuko loves this world and characters. She's immersed in this world, she's seen this movie many times, and tries to prevent certain characters' death and warn the incoming attacks. She spilled the beans, but of course these characters don't believe her because this is their world. They know nothing else. Even though I didn't expect an isekai, I'm really enjoying this anime. The animation is really nice. Natsuko's first transformation scene is probably one of the best I've ever seen. I did not expect that, and the animation went so hard for no reason, which is what we expect from Studio Mappa. It follows the similar tropes of the isekai genre, and that's fine, but the plot has me interested because she doesn't know what's gonna happen next, compared to earlier when she knew what was coming, and she was able to help prevent it. I wonder if she's able to go to her original world, but I have to wait and see. I'm enjoying it so far, the production's top tier, and I can't wait to see how it ends.
またやっちゃった創作依頼書白銀の剣ガンズ引退につきギルドでは以下の者をアタッカーに任命すべく捜索中私はバカか
Next is, I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. The title is pretty self-explanatory. Our main character Alina, she's a receptionist at the Adventure Guild, and she just wants a nice simple life. Her hours are fixed, she gets a nice salary that pays for her apartment, but these adventurers are always messing up. When they get stuck clearing a dungeon, she's forced to work overtime, which is a pain for her. So instead of waiting for these adventurers to finish this dungeon, she does it herself. She grabs her gear, puts on a hood, and destroys the boss. She keeps her identity secret, but people start finding out, like the best adventuring group that wants to recruit her. But when things get out of control, more powerful bosses show up, she has to drop the facade, sooner or later. I found some enjoyable moments. The animation's average, the characters look nice, but their personality are nothing too special. It's one of those fancy animes we get every seasonal anime. The best moment is when she gets annoyed from having to work overtime and take matters into her own hands. It's a fine adventure anime that you know what to expect, with some entertaining moments, but there's so many ones like this.
今日泊まる
それはいいけど、おい、大キロって。え
Next is I have a crush at work. Here we have an offense romance anime, where our two main characters, Yu and Masugu, are co-workers who are in a secret relationship. They work in different departments, but when they do interact at work, they're always bickering at each other. All their co-workers think they don't like each other, but outside of work, they're a loving couple who can't keep their hands off each other. They want to keep their relationship a secret because they don't want to make things awkward at work, not because of some rule or anything, just to keep the peace. I'm enjoying this anime. It's not no love is hard for otakus, but it's a nice office romance with older characters that don't act like high schoolers. We see this loving relationship and they act their age. And guess what? In the first episode, the main characters smash. We don't see everything, but it's implied enough that we know it happened. You don't have to show everything, which is fine, because it's not one of those animes. We barely get to see that in other romance animes. This anime's strong point is the relationship between our main characters, which that should be the driving force, because it is a romance anime. We want to see them together, the ups and downs. Overall, it's a good anime. The production's average, the side characters are kind of just there, but at least our main characters have shown they have substance to them. They are mature in the relationship, and we get to see it too. Because how many times in romance anime, we don't see any progression between the relationship? Hell, we barely even get them kissing. I'm enjoying this, and it's a nice change of pace from your typical romance animes that go nowhere.
こんなところにお泊まりとは何事だ内村
Next is Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Big 4. Here we have another isekai, and yes, we do have a lot for winter 2025. But this is the one I'm actually gonna finish. Our main character Uchimura, he's an everyday salaryman trying to climb the corporate ladder. But of course he gets summoned to another world by the demon overlord, who offers him a new job as one of the heavenly kings in his armor. He doesn't have any OP abilities to make him strong to defeat enemies, but he has office worker skills that will put them on the map. He has to use his wit to survive in this world. He's very business savvy, and he uses those skills to create trades with neighboring countries and to get the better in negotiations. Of course, he has to adjust to the customs of this world, where he learns from the others, and even one falls in love with them, which of course is gonna happen, but he's kind of oblivious to it. It's focused on the business operation. We see a lot of inner monologues of different strategies he's used in the past. This anime is fine. There are some interesting moments, but it's pretty average across the board, from the animation to the plot to the characters. I tend to enjoy these isekais where they're not just going around beating everyone with their overpowered ability. Sometimes I just want to see a salaryman work. Uchimura is able to succeed, to fail, but he continues to learn and usually gets the upper hand. It's average across the board and is probably skippable for most, but I found some enjoyable moments enough for me to finish the season.
とぼけてもダメだ。僕がうたた寝している間にこれはないんじゃないかな。ごめんなさいわ。
ごめんなさい
Next is possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. Here we have another isekai, where our main character Takumi is accidentally reincarnated by the goddess. He accidentally got mixed up with a group of heroes chosen to be summoned to another world, so as compensation, she gives him the choice to choose any skill, and he just wants a nice, peaceful, quiet life, so he chooses the boring creation skill. But of course it turns out alchemy is one of the most powerful skills he can have. because he's allowed to create anything. So with this overpowered ability, he begins his life as a merchant while recruiting others, pretty much female characters, to join him in creating this peaceful life. It's your average isekai. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I found some enjoyable moments to it, but there's nothing too spectacular about it. The animation's pretty subpar, and some episodes feel really rushed. You can feel like things were cut out. The characters are fine. They're all pretty typical for your isekai genre. The one thing this anime has going for it is the plot. Now I read the synopsis and that is the plot, but they're slowly building up to something else. So the goddess reincarnated him a year before all the other heroes would be reincarnated to this world. She's basically putting him in the first level of the video game, where he could get used to the world and start farming up his skills, because a war is gonna happen and it's only gonna get more difficult. So we see throughout the season that it's slowly leading up to that moment. We get to see some of the moves behind the scenes that kingdoms are doing. They're giving us a taste, but not the whole thing yet. I'm excited to see where it goes, but it probably will turn out to be like the rest of the isekais. I'm fine with that, but at least it has something for me to come back every week to watch a new episode. I want to see where it goes and see where this world leads to. But other than that, this isekai is average at best.
年下の可愛い子よろしくですカオル子ちゃんカオル子ちゃん
Next we have Welcome to Japan Myself. Here we have another isekai. For the plot of this one, our main character Kazuhiro has a hobby. It's sleeping. Ever since he was young, he would dream of this wonderful world and go on crazy adventures. In this dream world, he became friends with an elf. They would go on adventures together, and one day they run into a dragon where they're about to be burned to death. As he wakes up from his dream, he notices his elf friend sleeping right next to him. This dream world was not fake. He had a second life in this isekai world, and he's able to jump between both of them when he sleeps. So with this knowledge of jumping between both worlds, he's able to show her how Japan really is. This elf is able to explore the wonders of Japan, and it's so different from her world. They explore Japan during the day, and at night they go back to their fantasy world. They consistently go back between the two, which is a nice change of pace. So a bit of a twist to the isekai genre, and I'm a fan of isekais where they go back and forth between the original world and the fantasy world. This anime is enjoyable, you don't really gotta think too much about it, and you can leave it on in the background. We've seen this type of anime before, where we basically got a tourist explore the wonders of Japan, and take those influences back to their world. It's lighthearted, everything's average across the board, but I find the plot interesting, and the execution, it's alright. Your usual tropes are there, and I would say this anime is slightly above average.
食堂もまた学びや食事の時間もマナーを学ぶための実践の場と心得なさい
今のお説教はなかなか悪役っぽかったんじゃないかな。説得力が違う。さすがグレイス様。
Next is From Bureaucrat to Villainous, Dad's been reincarnated. Here we have a villainous anime, which every seasonal anime, we consistently get one or two. And because of that, I was burnt out with them, that I didn't care to watch them. But with this one, I'm really enjoying it. So our main character is a 52-year-old civil servant. He gets in an accident and is reborn as a villainous Grace. The world is a Otome game that his daughter used to play. With the little information he knows about this game, he tries to play the role of the villainous, but as a disciplined older man, he's unable to act in that manner. He's calm, he's kind, and he befriends the heroines. He tries to keep the story on track, but he can't help himself. He helps with different relationships, misunderstandings, and everyone starts to love the villainous, even the main protagonist of the game. It's the usual tropes of a villainous anime, but instead of a female character that knows the ins and outs of the game, we have an older man that knows somewhat about the game. I like some of the comedic bits, especially with the family, because they're otakus. They do their poses, they quote different animes and manga, and the daughter be roasting their parents because they make references she's too young for. If you're a fan of the villainous genre, you definitely like this one, but if you're not, this won't change your mind. I find this one enjoyable, and it's different enough for me from your typical villainous genres, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
疲れないように身体能力がアップするよう愛情を込めておいたんだよ。
料理は愛情はマナだったシルク考えちゃダメフィーリングでいこう
Next we have, I left my A-rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. Here we don't have a isekai, but it's a fantasy adventure anime. Just like isekais, we get so many every seasonal anime. For the plot of this one, our main character Yuke, he's tired with his party. He's the handyman of the group, but has always been mistreated. He gets a lesser share of the reward. He has to buy his own potions, and is forced to use it on his party members who don't want to buy it. After 5 years of this, he quits. While looking for a new group, he runs into an all-female adventure party that used to be his former students. He joins them, and his true strength is gradually revealed. It turns out he was more useful than they thought. It's your typical fantasy adventure anime, where our main character is succeeding in his new group. They are slowly moving up the ranks, especially from their live streams. Yes, I forgot to mention, they are some dungeon live streamers. It's how adventuring groups get their popularity, and Yuke's a master at it. He knows how to farm content, and his group has slowly become one of the most popular adventuring groups. The animation's average, the characters have little depth to them, but with 24 episodes, I'm expecting a lot more to be slowly unpacked from the characters, because as of now, they're just trying to build up the brand and establish themselves. Yuke doesn't have some overpowered ability. He's like more of a coach and manager. He's able to help everyone succeed and bring out the best in everyone. It's a fine anime. It has some enjoyable moments, and it does take its time a bit because again, it has 24 episodes. I also love his former party getting served some humble pie. Is that they're so arrogant and blame their newer teammates, they're no longer successful. It's like when I blame any Spider-Man players on my team in Marvel Rivals. Instant loss. If you're into fantasy, action, adventure animes, you'll like this one, but there's so many like it, especially with every seasonal anime. We always get a few new ones.
これぞという意中の男性の前でこれを着ればどんな堅物もイチコロというなんとハレンチな申し訳ございません悪ふざけが過ぎたようです
Next is the daily life of a middle-aged online shopper in another world. Another isekai of the season. For the plot of this one, our main character Kenshi is a single man in his 40s who's transported to another world for no apparent reason. He has the power of Amazon, where he could buy pretty much anything online with his new world currency by exchanging the goods he found in this new world for cash. He's able to create a very popular business to complete his goal of living a slow, leisurely life. This type of isekai has been done before, especially with the plot of them just wanting to live a nice, easy life. He begins making bank off the items he buys on Amazon, but he starts to get noticed by different merchants and companies in this world. This anime is also in harem, and my boy Kenshi do be smashing. It's heavily implied, we don't get to see it, but that's fine by me. This is your baseline isekai and skippable. Very average across the board, from the animation to the plot to the fighting. Honestly, I like it more because Kenshi isn't afraid to smash. Seasonal animes do have a theme, because it's not the first anime this season to have people smashing in it.
するって言われたらさ恥かさっさおじんちゅ
ラブの方だこれ
デュクシデュクシデュクシデュクシ
そうかキヤさんそうか
Next is Okisura. Fell in love with an Okinawa girl, but I just wish I know what she's saying. For the plot of this one, our main character Nakamura, he is transferred to Okinawa, where he falls in love with Hina, but he can't understand her dialect. But thankfully her friend Kana is there to help him out with the translations. That's the whole plot. I found this one enjoyable. It's true, people in Okinawa have such a crazy dialect that Japanese people can't understand. And it seems with this anime, they are true to represent this culture, and throughout the episode, they do give us some lessons. I don't know how accurate they are, but I'll believe they are. It's always great to see other parts of Japan represented than your usual places like Tokyo or the city life. I really like the animations, and the cast is full of colorful characters. It's a laid-back comedy with some romance aspects of it. Our main character is in love with Hina, but her friend Kana is in love with him. So there's somewhat a love triangle. On my anime list, his listed theme is love polygon, which I didn't know it was a term. We get to understand why these characters like each other. But come on, Nakamura, Kana's right there. I'm shipping them personally. But Hina's a fun character. She's the goofy character that drives a lot of the comedy. And God, her dialect. I don't know how legit it is. It's like completely hearing a different language from Japanese. I do like the different cultural facts we see throughout the episode and our characters portraying them. Some of them are very out there, and again, I don't know if they're real, but I'll tend to believe they might be a little exaggerated. Entertaining anime overall, I enjoy it, and it's nice to learn a little bit about a different part of Japan.
ガキのくせに無線滑りなど許さん危険だ待ってくださいその子は
Next is Medalist. For the plot of this one, Tsukasa always dreamed of becoming a competitive solo figure skater, but starting too late in life meant that his ambitions never got off the floor. So he takes an assistant coaching job in figure skating. He meets a young girl Inori, who's a shy 5th grader, sneaking into the rink for practice. She loves figure skating, but is held back by her overprotective mother and her own self-doubt. She's never been encouraged to pursue her passion until Tsukasa. He offers to coach her and help her chase her dream. Medalist is a figure skating anime. The only thing I know about figure skating was from Yuri on Ice, which I know what you're thinking. But hey, I found that anime enjoyable, even though it has a ton of flaws. But when watching Medalist, I feel like this is what Yuri on Ice was supposed to be. We have a main character who lacks confidence and is doubted by everyone from her mother to other competitors about her dream because she's starting a little late. But with the right coach, determination, it doesn't matter what age you start, you can still catch up to the rest. It just takes a lot of hard work. And this anime is able to make you have that feeling that you're rooting for Inari, of her hard work, her trials and tribulations that she's going through, that hopefully maybe she could make her dream come true of reaching the Olympics and being a medalist. It's the beginning of the journey, and hopefully we get to see it through. I like the animation, the colors, even the CG. This anime feels true to figure skating. It's a nice sports anime, and Inori's faces are just hilarious. Her chibi moments, her shyness, she drives a lot of the comedy. What I really like about this anime is the other characters besides our main ones. Throughout episodes, they've been seen as villains, but we get to see why they think that way through their history, and we don't vilify them for it. Especially with Inori's mother. Because she's the low-key hater, but she has her reasons, which is understandable coming from a parent. But overall, I really like this anime, and from a sports anime perspective too, it does hold its own in the genre. I think it's really well done, and I'm excited to see the rest.
4月の奇想の光の底を椿し歯ぎしり行き来する
Next is Flower in Asura. Hana lives in a small island with a population of 600. She loves reading to the island's children, and one day Mizuki, the president of the school broadcasting club, noticed her talent in engaging others through her storytelling and invites her to join the club. Hana embarks on this new journey as she experiences many firsts with the broadcasting club members. This anime is interesting to me. It's a drama anime where the main plot is broadcasting. Our characters have a passion for it, whether it's from actual broadcasting, like doing the announcements for their school, or competing in competitions, reading excerpts. They all fall under the same umbrella. Our main character Hana is very shy, and she's continually comparing herself to others, but she has a talent for it, and the others notice it too. When she does her reading, the whole background changes and we get engulfed in this world of what she's reading. So instead of just hearing it, we get to see it visually of what our other characters are experiencing. It's well done and the animation is very nice for it. This anime is nice and chill, and we get to see Hana burst out of her bubble, slowly, but she's growing. I like this anime. It could be boring at times because it's very dialogue heavy. The art and sound is a standout for this anime, and it really draws you in. But the story and characters are no slack either. We get to slowly see them develop, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
ちょっと待って。あの後みなみは街中を冒険してたの？
うん、おかげでいいイベントが発生してゴルフっていう新しいアビリティを見つけたんだよ。へへん。
ゴルフっておじさんとかおじいちゃんがやってるやつ？
Next is Sora Iru Utility. Here we have a golfing anime. Our main character Minami has no strengths or aspirations and worries that she'll graduate as a mere villager A. Her only interest is a gacha game that the service is being shut down. After spending so much time and money on it, she needs to find a new interest. When she comes across a golf driving range, she is approached by Haruka, a part-time worker there and a genius golfer. Minami is taken away by the world of golf, and that slowly becomes her new interest, and she aims to become the protagonist of her own life. Recently, we have seen a ton of golfing animes, and I haven't watched any of them. As someone who golfs maybe twice a year, and it's pretty trash, it's nice to see a golfing anime where our main character is starting from zero. It's not a serious sports anime, where our main character uses gacha game terminology to reference her improvement in golfing. Things like leveling up, powering up, the whole 9 yards. At even one point she becomes Super Saiyan, which is happening a lot this seasonal anime. It does fall in the category of cute girls do cute things a bit, but the golfing seems genuine. We go through the basics of golf with her as she's slowly improving. I found it enjoyable. It has a little parody to it with the gacha and anime references. It's subtle, but it's there. It's a lighthearted golf anime where we get to see her progression. I don't know how far she's gonna go with it, but it's nice to see characters find new passions that people can relate to. And who knows, maybe this will motivate me to get better at golf. Next are the animes that we're continuing from fall 2024.
ねえ見た？今のカリーみたいじゃなかった？
You serious?
First one is Blue Box, and what a roller coaster this season has been. I call this one of the most mature romance anime I've ever seen, and it still is. And with the second half of the season, I'm definitely enjoying it more than the first half. Throughout the season, they have really established the characters, and we see a lot of growth between them. We get to know more about them and the relationships they have with each other. Chinatsu was definitely the main character of the first half, but with the second half, Hina has definitely got a lot of the screen time. It's well balanced between both of them, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I've turned into a Hina fan. They've shown much growth with her, and in my opinion, she just has some of the best moments. They are really playing it up that any girl can win, but we'll just have to wait and see. The sport moments are still sporting, the romance is slowly developing. I mean, we even got confessions, and the characters handle it in a mature manner, which is unheard of in a high school romance anime. I've been really enjoying the series. I did take a break from the series for a bit to catch up on other animes, but what brought me back was seeing on Twitter that people were comparing Chinatsu to Julius Randle. And if you know anything about basketball, Julius Randle is a pretty polarizing basketball player, for the good and bad. I just found it hilarious and I had to catch up to see why they were calling him that. Other than that, the series is great. I really want to see how it ends. And from the last episode I watched, it looks like they're introducing another girl. And honestly, I might have a new favorite. She looks like she's gonna cause trouble and drama, and I'm all for it.
どれどれ何が出るかな何が出るかな
Next is Shangri-La Frontier Season 2. I'm still liking this anime. It's the same from Season 1 or even the first half. New enemies, bosses, and just unraveling this crazy video game world. Some of the arcs do last a little long. Like when they were fighting one of the unique monsters, It lasted like 6 episodes. I did enjoy those episodes, but it just felt like it was dragged on a little bit. But it also worked in its favor because it is a unique monster, and there's a reason why no one's able to beat them. I think it's taken a common plot that we've seen many times before, and it's able to make it its own and really enjoyable. And it's definitely better than Sword Art Online. Next is AnimePhoria Season 3. Now this season has 16 episodes, so it was only a few more than your typical 12 episodes, but it did finish in winter 2025. For the last 4 episodes or so, I really like how they ended it. There was no real main antagonist of the season that they were building up the whole season to fight, but in the end, they were fighting themselves. This dungeon made each character fight themselves, and they had to face their insecurities, their doubts, and everything in between. It showed growth with the characters and made them more human. I think Season 3 is their best one, and overall, the series is fine. If you're into edgy, overpowered isekais, this is the epitome of it. I do like that they're actually trying to get back to their original world, and Hajime's harem's excited too, because they want to meet the family, which I really hope we see, because there's no way his parents could be fine with him having 8 girlfriends. He's no Rentaro. Overall, it was a good season for a series that's slightly above average.
この世界は人間のために作られたとも信じてない。もちろん。じゃあ神も信じてないわけだ。あれ？
Next is Orb on the movements of the earth. This was one of my favorites in fall, and I think with the second half of the season, it's definitely got much better. I really like the storytelling. The characters are the most important part of the series, and they're able to establish them real quick. A lot of characters come and go, but even if they're in for a short time, the series is able to make us care for them and give us some emotional attachment to them. It's very dialogue heavy, and it's pretty important. There are certain scenes that are shown that you question, like, why was that in there? Is it just an establishing shot? But then episodes later, they tie it up all together. The writing and pacing could be a little off at times, but not enough for me to be really upset with it. Some of the setups for the twist is pretty easy to predict, but I don't think they're trying to hide it really well. Orb is still one of the best animes premiering right now, and I'm glad people noticed it. It had a slow start early on, but throughout the season, more and more people are giving it praise. For me, episode 20 has to be my favorite, because they're building up to something just to pull it away from me. The emotional roller coaster I went to was insane. Orb also has some of the best music of the season. The opening and closing are bangers. Even when the closing changed halfway through the season, it still bangs. Last one is Dragon Ball Daima. I really enjoyed the first half, and the second half is even better. The world is unique, the monsters and enemies are interesting, and I just can't help to feel nostalgic. Of course, the enemies don't compare to the enemies of Dragon Ball Z, but they were never gonna live up to that. I love that we got to see Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but what's with his hands though? They are not proportionate. It looks like he got the Apaka Fist from Saints Row the Third on. I'm still enjoying it. It got a couple laughs out of me, and Hybius has to be my favorite character. He's inadvertently funny, and dumb and smart at the same time. Also, the Majin characters are great too. Now for the animes I dropped this season. If any of these animes you think I shouldn't have dropped, let me know in the comments below. First is Honey Lemon Soda. I don't think this anime is bad, but I've seen it so many times before, but nothing really drew me in to keep me coming back. Our main character Ishimori had a tough experience in middle school. She's the quiet introverted type, keeps to herself, and of course people made fun of her because of that. She meets Kai, who's basically her opposite, and flunks her exam to a prestigious high school to attend the high school Kai was going to, even though they just bumped into each other. Kai is more emotionally inept than Ishimori is. He shows nothing. Why do characters like this guy? Why are we rooting for this guy? Kai is pretty boring until he has to stand up for someone. And at least with Ishimori, we get to hear her inner monologues, her fears. That's interesting. But Kai really isn't. From the episodes I've seen at least, which is like 3. He comes to her rescue a couple times for bullies and even throws a desk, which that sequence was just hilarious and not in a good way. He basically sets her up to break out of her shell a little bit to ask for help, in which that's good, and we should see the growth of our main character. But Kai is just so boring. He's just a plain white bread, not even toasted. But as a romance anime, it's fine. I can see where it's going, but I just didn't care enough for it. Next is Medaka Kiriwa. It's impervious to my charms. Here we have another comedy romance anime, which I dropped after the first episode. It's one of those ecchi teasing ones, where our main character Mona is the main character of her life. All the girls love her, all the guys want her, and she's a top dog. One day, she tries to befriend Medaka, and he's not having it. He pretty much ignores her, or gives her one-sentence answers. She tries everything, but he's not having it. She thinks he's playing hard to get, he's training to be a monk, and also has never really interacted with females. So he doesn't know what to say, and succumbs to his urges. She takes that as a challenge because she's a narcissist, and does whatever to try to be at least friends with them, but maybe end up falling for him because he's playing hard to get. unintentionally. This anime is whatever. We've seen this type many times and even done better. The characters to me are just so bland. I'm not really rooting for any one of them. I just felt like this anime was going nowhere. She tries to be friendly, he gives her the cold shoulder. He has an inner monologue that he can't help himself, and then she takes out her boobs. It's the same comedic bits, rinse and repeat, and I found it pretty boring. Next is Amiki MD, Dr. Detective. Here we have the actual Dr. House. Dr. Tako is mystery obsessed and inserts herself into cases that captures her fancy, much to the dismay of her colleagues and the police. Even though she creates more problems for the hospital, they can't deny her brilliance. We have a medical anime that's really more of a mystery anime. They treat the patient's cases like it's a police case. They try to keep it mysterious and away from the audience, so they can have a big reveal at the end. I see where they were going with this anime, trying to be like Ron Kanahashi's, but I feel like it's falls flat. I don't think this anime is bad, the production's nice, and I like the character designs, but the story itself, I just found lackluster. It's just mashing two types of genres that can work, but it doesn't in this instance. I found it boring. Also, there was a lot of feet shots. What is this, directed by Quentin Tarantino? I don't think it's bad, and people may like this, but it's just not for me. Next is even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. Our main character Ein, with the job of appraiser, he's basically the guy who sits back on the team and appraises all the loot that they get from the dungeon. It's a useless job. It's because they have appraisal machines, so he's pretty useless. One day in the dungeon, he gets left behind by his team, and this man gets fucked up. He's clinging onto his life, and he gets healed by this tree. He thanks the tree, and these characters come out. The tree girl Yuri takes a liking to him because no one has ever thanked her for helping people. Instead, they try to take advantage and profit from the tree's healing. So as a reward, the guardian of the tree Ursula, she trains Ein to become the best. And it's one of those messed up training arcs where he's constantly dying and she's reviving him. Everything about it is below average, and it was so below average, I thought this anime was the one I'm about to talk about next. That's just so how all of these fantasy animes kind of blend all together. Next is Bogus Skill Fruit Master. About that time I became able to eat unlimited numbers of skill fruits. So for this one, in this fantasy world, people gain special abilities from eating a skill fruit only once. And if you eat another one, you die. Our main character Light, yes his name is Light, but we all know there could only be one Light in anime. His skill is Fruit Master, which is unsuitable for battle. His job is to become a farmer and grow fruits. He ended up becoming an adventurer, which is disappointing because his childhood friend Lena, she got the ability of Sword Master or something. So she's living out their dream and he becomes a farmer. For some reason he takes care of a child, I forget why, and she accidentally mixes in the skill fruits into their soup. Thinking he's about to die, he figures out he has more abilities because of his Fruit Master skill. This anime took the concept of One Piece and just made it super generic. I only watched 3 episodes, so I assume he could stack these skill fruits and just have every skill possible. Of course, the next skill he gets, he also becomes a sword master or something, so he could become an adventurer now. He meets up with his old childhood friend and they create a party. It's super generic and it's way below average. Just the production on it is pretty bad and the plot is just boring. There's nothing here. There's so many animes like it that do it so much better and so much more enjoyable. I probably should have dropped it in the first episode. I don't even know why I decided to watch 2 more. Next is I'm a noble on the brink of ruin, so I might as well try mastering magic. A middle-aged commoner dies and finds himself in the body of Liam, a young son of a noble household. He's nowhere close to the throne, so he decided just to try to master magic, which he always wanted to do. He wants a leisure life and spends his time learning magic. This anime has nothing to go for it. I find it pretty boring when I usually like this type of isekais where they just kind of just want to chill and do their own thing. I'm sure he starts building his harem and then people start to glaze him. The production is pretty underwhelming. I just found it boring. Going through the first episode, it felt like an eternity and I just couldn't continue on. Next is I'm living with an otaku NEET Kuinichi. This anime is something. A normal salaryman Tsukasa is attacked by some spirit, but he's saved by Shizuri. He has gone through this his entire life, being inconvenienced or attacked by these spirits, and he thought something was wrong with them. So after being tired of this, she creates a deal that she will protect him and he will take care of her. So while living in his apartment, she becomes an otaku NEET. She stays indoors the whole time, plays video games, and can't do any basic household things. There's no cleaning, no cooking, no nothing. All she does is game and waits for him to come home to cook her food. I'm not gonna lie, this anime is pretty pathetic. The plot's simple. The characters, there's nothing going for them. I'm not cheering for any one of them. Tsukasa kind of just goes along with it. He doesn't question anything. He's just like, sure. And she's happy because she's a gold digger. She's not in it for the money, but someone's taking care of her. I'm sure he starts building a harem because maybe her coworkers wants the same deal as her, where they'll protect them and all their basic needs are taken care of. There's actually moments. It's a pretty platonic relationship from the first episode at least because I've only watched 1. So I'm sure there'll be misunderstandings and maybe romantic feelings in the future and competition with the other girls. But I'm not watching up to that point. Next is the Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. This might be my most controversial drop of the season. Our main character is a Red Power Ranger, which is the most powerful ranger. He traded in his life for the enemy and then he finds himself in another world. Yes, the Red Power Ranger is isekai. So of course he becomes an adventurer, tries to save some people, and meet some great people along the way. I don't think this isekai is bad at all. It's probably an above average isekai compared to the ones we get every season. I'm just not a Power Ranger fan. I've never have been. even when I was a little kid. It's not like I don't like them, I'm just not a fan. But if you are into Power Rangers, you'll probably like this one because it had all the classic tropes. It can be a little cringe at times and goofy. Our main character uses the power of friendship to defeat his enemies, but isn't that what Power Rangers is all about? I'm sure the enemies are crazy overpowered with 10-minute monologues, and our main character will find a way to beat them with the power of friendship. I'm sure it does all those things in a good way that pays homage to the Ranger scene. I do gotta make a confession though. I did see a clip where he does hook up with the other main character, the wizard who's well endowed. And the goon inside of me might have tried to pick this up again, but I couldn't do it to myself. Next is Grisaya Phantom Trigger. For a quick synopsis of this one, you have a bunch of young girls in the school that trains for national defense. They do it all: firearms, hand-to-hand combat, and they even go on missions. Now, I was a fan of the parent story, The Fruit of Grisaya, because it was a harem show where an overpowered main character is given a normal life, but we find out he is still messed up and the girls around him are even more messed up. This is a continuation from the original story, but it's just with a bunch of new characters. I just don't care of it because the original main character Yuji isn't in here. At least from the episode I watched. I just don't know who's this made for. I know the original was a visual novel, so maybe they just continue it and this is also a visual novel, but nothing really drew me in from the first episode. I'm sure all the girls in here are even more fucked up than Yuji, but I just don't really care. I did see a scene though where they brought a baby to a gunfight, which of course they did. They're insane. I don't know the context of it, but it's somehow their fault. Well, I'm sure fans of the visual novel and the series will like it. It's a bunch of cute girls doing some crazy things. They're cute one moment and they're covered in blood in the next scene. Next is things that I watch as seasonal anime. I just wanted to go over different animes that I watched during the season that doesn't fit into the seasonal anime. That also includes anime movies or just animation in general.
ここは有名なイソスタ映えスポット。あと10分後に花火が打ち上がるからみんなで写真を撮ろう。
お母さんの知り合いにいい霊媒師さんがいてね。
誤解。
First is Bocchi the Rock. I skipped this one when it came out in fall 2022, and it was one of those animes I regret skipping because it turned out to be pretty good. I saw that it was getting a second season, so I thought it was the right time to watch it, and I found it pretty enjoyable. I'm not the biggest fan of music anime, and the music in this one's alright, except for the opening. That opening does slap. I like Bocchi as a character, even though her social anxiety is a bit exaggerated. And the inner monologue she has with herself, I find it pretty funny. The production is well done, and I love the different artistic styles that they put Bocchi through. The other main characters are nice, and they really bounce off each other well. I'm glad I watched Bocchi the Rock, and I can't wait for the second season. Next is Look Back. Now this was a fairly recent movie that was on my radar when it came out because I saw it got pretty good reviews. I left it on the back burner and I finally came to watch it when I watched Giga's new video as him putting Look Back as his favorite anime of 2024. So of course I had to watch it, and it did not disappoint. This movie is only an hour long and is able to create captivating characters so quickly in such a short time. I love the story of this and I really like the animation style. It has its own uniqueness that really works well for it. I highly recommend you watch it. Don't even watch the trailer. Don't read any synopsis. Just go into it blind. I think it works better that way because coming into it, I only really knew the basics, and I'm glad I went into it pretty blind. Just the emotions this movie's able to put you through in such a short time is crazy. You feel for the characters, and it feels realistic that everyone can relate to. Look Back's amazing, and I now understand why it has been praised so much.
Where can I stash my clothes? Hey. Was that me?
Next is... I really enjoyed the series, but with this latest season, I've been slacking a bit when the episodes were being released. Season 3 is great, but my hype for it has definitely come down from the past 2 seasons. Invincible is a great take on the superhero genre, and Season 3 will be a turning point. I like where the story's going, the animation's good when it needs to be, and the characters make you feel some type of way. The series is great, and you should definitely give it a watch. The only real problem I've seen with this season is the main character Mark. I somewhat share the same opinion as other people, but this man needs to get it together. We have seen Mark's power, and the other characters tell us he's much stronger than before, and yet he continues to get pieced up. This man can destroy anyone, but he continually gets beat up by nobodies, and his decision making is just terrible. I do understand his character. He's still learning what's right and wrong, but as a superhero, we all know it's gray. He already crossed the line, and he makes excuses for himself, but doesn't give the others the benefit of doubt when they do the same. It's a learning curve for him, but when watching it, it just makes you feel great show overall, and honestly, it should only get better.
Sorry. Go. Fuck. Yourself.
And last one is Creature Commandos. I know this is not an anime, but I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to include it, and it deserves more praise. This is the first step to the James Gunn DC universe, and this show was fantastic. I'm a huge DC fan, but we all know DC has so many blunders, especially in the movies. But usually in the animation, they've done pretty well. Not in recent memory, but in the past. Creature Commandos is amazing. It's 8 episodes, so it's a quick watch. It does tie into some of the other films, but you don't gotta watch it to watch this one. The animation's well done, the voice acting's perfect, and just some of the crazy scenes they go through. It's really great to watch. And even with so little episodes, they are able to establish the characters and give us an emotional attachment with some of their backstories, their feelings, and why they are the way they are. It's well done, and it's a great step for the future of DC, and hopefully we get more animation. I highly recommend the show. Give it a chance. Go into it blind. And those are all the animes I wanted to talk about for winter 2025. I do think this was a pretty good seasonal anime, but it's not up there with some of the bangers we had the last couple years or so. The hyped original animes and sequels are hitting for me, and there are some nice gems, especially in the romance department. We had a nice break and fall from the isekais, and they came back stronger in winter. I found winter 2025 pretty enjoyable, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which animes are you watching? Which one did you drop? Which animes I didn't talk about? And everything in between in the comments below. Hopefully by the time I upload this, the winter anime is still going on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.